Have you ever wondered why it's harder to hold success than it is to create the success? Welcome to Tools to Manifest Your Dream Life with myself, Glenyce Hughes. Thank you so much for being here. I am so incredibly grateful for each and every one of you. Now, you can access this as a podcast on your favorite podcast app. Just need to search Tools to Manifest Your Dream Life. Of course, I put them on YouTube every week and often on Facebook and Instagram too. Let's talk about the part of growth that very few people talk about, which is the after you expand, after you get the big client win or manifest your dream of some sort, or you get a big windfall of money. What happens after that? What most people don't realize is that you actually need your nervous system and your body. It actually needs time to adjust to that expansion. It's like the integration phase where you either hold that expansion, you be that energy easily, or it basically snaps back to the way it was before. For a little bit of research for this podcast, I actually went back to 2010, and it is the first year in my business that I had over a $10,000 month. I started my business in 2002. It was this lifelong business dream of mine. I somehow had this idea that if I made over $10,000 in a month, that meant I was a success. Don't judge me. That's just where I was at the time. And in 2010 is when I did that. And so I went back. I actually have tracked since 2002 the amount of money I brought in each month in my business. So it's really fun to go look at times. So this morning I went and checked that month. What happened the months after? They decreased by about 50%. So I created the success and then I snapped back. And then I looked at other months, of course, as the years went on, the income grew and grew and grew. And there was, I think it was 2016. I don't remember now. I was just looking at it, but I forget. And there was a month there that I made $57,000 in May of that year. And same thing, looking at the following months, snapped back. So my ability to hold the success certainly grew in some ways, but it wasn't like the success in that moment, say the $60,000 that I continued that. No, I continued. It was much smaller segments, and that's not wrong. I don't share this as a way to judge myself or anything like that. It's just really recognizing how easy it is basically to snap back in that integration phase, rather than recognizing we could actually choose to carry it forward. We could choose to grow it. I didn't have this information at the time. I was putting, I would say, all of my creative energy in creating that big success and then snapping back. I remember another time, and this isn't financially related, and so when we talk about growth and expansion, it does not have to be numbers related. Okay, this can show up in all sorts of ways. And in this particular experience, what I had done was manifested my dream, which was this dream of spending a month to 2 months, I can't remember how long, somewhere in there, in Mexico, and basically not work in that time. So not taking clients, not doing what I do now where I work and travel at the same time. Back then, it would have been a little bit more difficult to do. Now with Zoom, it's so easy. So I was looking to take a month, maybe even 2 off, and go to Mexico and lay on the beach, basically by the pool. And I created that. I absolutely did. And I'm going to segue a little bit, but I'll come back, I promise. I want to just share what really inspired me to create that, because at the time, I really was looking at like one day that will happen. And probably honestly, one day when I'm retired is probably more of the energy back then. And I was listening to, it wasn't called a podcast back then, but basically that's what we would call it now. And her name was Jo Dunning. Gosh, I haven't thought of her for a long time. And she was giving an analogy. Now, I've heard this analogy in many different ways and from many different people now. It's not her analogy, but I heard it when she shared it. And she was talking about having time and making the time. And she was using this analogy of having a big pile of rocks and smaller rocks and even smaller rocks and then sand beside this vase you wanted to put it all in. Now, there's only one way you're going to get all of these things in, And so basically the big rocks had to go in first, and then the little ones and the smaller ones, and then you pour the sand in. And the analogy was the big rocks were the things that were important to you. And of course, by the time you get to the sand, they're the really unimportant, but you need to do type of things. And as I was listening to this, I even remember I was driving. I used to do these afternoons with the angels in Middle Lake, Saskatchewan. And I was driving there and I was listening to her talk about this. And I realized one of my big rocks was this dream of Mexico. And within a couple of weeks, we had booked it because it was just like, no, this is a really big rock for me. This is a really big rock. So anyway, totally went off topic, but it's a really great memory to share. Now, the reason that I went to all of that is that because I was talking about that dream of creating that dream and manifesting that dream. And I spent some amazing time in Mexico, and hubby was only able to stay for a part of it because he was working at the time. And so then two of my sisters came and joined me, and I had some time alone. It was truly like incredible. Afterwards though, I was flat. Like there was nothing. And I see that now as I had this big growth and basically I snapped back after. I had all sorts of wondering going on in my world, like what did I do wrong? There was so much crazy, but now I just realized, I manifested my dream and then snapped back to where I was prior to that. Now we have tools. So we're going to talk about some of those tools that you can use if you're maybe seeing yourself in any of this and you're recognizing where you've maybe snapped back after a big creation. And again, it does not have to be monetary. It could be lots of things. You could have a really incredible day with somebody, and then the next day you snap back to, oh, they probably don't like me, all the crazy that we can tell ourselves. So there's lots of different ways that it can show up. And the other piece that I heard a few months ago, which I found really interesting from a physical standpoint, when our body loses weight, it takes 2 years before our body stops, basically, I'm putting my own words in here, there's medical terms for it, but basically stops fighting to put the weight back on. And to me, that is such a representation of how we do things, even though we're maybe not comfortable with the extra weight and we're more comfortable when it goes away, there's still this trying to bring it back to go back to the way we were. And that to me, it just represents all the different areas. Basically, when we up level, we go through 3 different stages. Stage 1 is the expansion. This is where you receive the manifestation, the extra cash, the weight loss, whatever it might be. And your brain literally floods with dopamine and possibility. Level 3 is when you go into contraction, where your subconscious basically hit pause and goes into, can we actually have this, hold this, be this? This is where old fears and the scarcity loops start to play. And this is the weird thing. It's not actually to punish you, but to actually stabilize you. This is what your nervous system is doing. It's trying to go back so you're stable in what you were before, even though you don't want to be stable in that. That's what it's doing for you. It's helping you. And then level 3 is integration. This is when you could consciously regulate and choose safety with the newness. By choosing that safety, what happens then is your nervous system starts to regulate in that, knowing that it's safe to have or be or do whatever it is that you've started with. Your body starts to normalize that newness, whatever it is. And that's when the new wealth patterns or the new success patterns or whatever that newness is that you've started with actually starts to stick, actually starts to be your new normal, so to speak. But what happens for most people is when they hit level 2, they see it as a failure. They go into, well, see, it can't happen. This isn't going to work. They're going to leave me, whatever it is, and never ever get to the possibility of step 3 because they let it all go when they hit step 2. So some tips when you're going through the integration part. Number 1, pause before reacting. If things slow down or feel weird, don't add a story to it. Just take some deep breaths and allow your system to settle. Tip number 2, expand through gratitude. Your brain needs evidence that this level is actually safe. Notice what is working and anchor it with gratitude for real-time safety. So this could show up as, let's say you have a really big client sign up and the deposit goes into your bank account and you're looking at that amount of money, you could look at it and just go, I am so grateful you're here. I am so grateful you're in my account right now. I'm so grateful you've shown up. I'm so grateful that I'm willing to receive this. I'm so grateful that I'm willing to have a client that trusts me to do this work. Whatever it is, but you're anchoring in that moment of what's true for you. So you don't want to fake it. You don't want to have gratitude for things you don't truly feel grateful about, but what do you feel grateful for in that moment, and anchor in with that from that safety energy. Tip number 3, really pay attention to your body. Regulation tools I talk about all the time, breath work. Something as simple as where you're breathing in through your nose for the count of 4. You're going to hold it for the count of 2 and breathe out through your mouth for the count of 6. Just for a couple minutes like that. You can regulate your nervous system so quickly with that breath work. And of course, there's lots of different types of breath work that can work. Another one that I love is emotional freedom technique, or EFT. If you go onto YouTube, you'll find lots of videos you can walk along with the person so that you can see how it's done if you're not familiar. It's a really simple way to regulate your nervous system. And a short version is just to tap here while you're maybe again looking at that bank deposit, like, okay. This will regulate your nervous system. It will teach your body it's safe, and that number is safe, and that it being in your bank account is safe. Just tapping here. It's super simple. Wealth embodiment is literally nervous system work. Now, tip number 4 is to choose one stabilizing thought. Something like, it's safe for me to have this. It's safe for me to hold this. My body knows how to thrive here. Or something else that just feels calming, relaxing, and easy for you to be with. And repeat it either out loud or in your mind until your energy softens. Now, if you would like more of these tips, I invite you to join me. I am starting on November 10th. And of course, if you're listening later, you can always get the replays. A 21-day wealth ceiling reset. I recently did a class, a one-off class that was called Rewiring Your Wealth Ceiling, and it was incredible. We'll have the link above or below if you want to catch the replay. And so it inspired this 21 days, where for 21 days, I am going to share what I'm using that day, how things are going, and then inviting you to join me in that step. And it's in my brand new app. I'm so excited about it. So you can check that out on the link above or below. Always, if you can't find links, just reach out. I will get them for you. We start November 10th for 21 days. You will get a video. You will get a little process to go through yourself. You will get a question to ask the universe that day, which is basically an affirmation. Now, an affirmation is a question as opposed to a statement. So instead of I am rich, the affirmation is, why am I so rich? I love affirmations because they open me up to more possibilities than affirmations, which is a statement. I will often argue if I say I'm rich, but in that moment I'm not feeling rich. So when I ask, why am I so rich? It just inspires me, expands me, and just brings me so much more possibilities. So you might prefer affirmations. That's totally fine. And of course you could change it. And when I ask affirmations, I ask the universe. That's why it's questions for the universe. So you can, again, check out the information. Would love to have you come join me for these 21 days. So I have been learning that the real magic of manifestation isn't the moment that you receive it. It's actually your ability to go with it beyond that moment, to hold it, to have it, to, in some respects, really receive it. Like really receive it and actually be it. That is a journey. That is a process. That is not something that I would say many of us are able to do in that moment. Like we receive the $1 million and we're able to have it forever and ever, or able to receive it and play with it and do all the things we'd like to easily. No, that's probably why a lot of people who win the lottery, within a couple of years, it's all gone. And in most cases, it's all plus more is gone. So it is really, truly one of the greatest gifts I would say that we can give ourselves is to take time when we up level to really receive it and hold it and be it, to then get to the next level, to repeat, so that our nervous system, our bodies feel safe in the receiving of it and in the having of it. Have a great week, sweet friends. I look forward to chatting again next week.